Well, greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today, I have an upload that I look forward to sharing with you. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into today's upload, shall we? All right, folks, I was supposed to go up to Horicon or Brant Lake to walk Lily Pond Trail. That is where Tom Mezek disappeared November 15th, 2015. I had some family issues come up today, and I really couldn't, or yesterday, and I really couldn't go up there. I really did want to, and it was a perfect day. It was cold, it was rainy, so it would have just been absolutely perfect. But anyway, this case has truly baffled many people. Outsiders who don't live in the Adirondacks, as well as all of us who do live in the Adirondacks. I remember sometime this summer talking to a state policeman and mentioning my channel. We talked a little bit about the channel and the Tom Mezek case. I shared with him some information on it, and he was blown away. He had actually written a college paper on the disappearance of Tom. So it really does affect the residents of the Adirondacks. And as I was looking into things and stuff, I started to stumble upon some very interesting information that I wasn't aware of. And like I said, I had a really incredibly hectic day yesterday. Family issues, and it's just being a single dad, 2 daughters. So I wanted to put this upload together to show you guys all of the insanity that not just I have experienced up there, but others as well. This upload is full of information and interviews with people who were involved in the search and rescue, which ended up just becoming a search party. So let's get into it.
All right, guys. So as of recent, in Brant Lake / Horicon, New York, on Lily Pond Road / Lily Pond Trail, I have been chased down the mountain, or scared off the mountain, let's say. Also, I caught something that ran across the trail. About 1.5 years ago, I stumbled upon a rock formation, 3 rocks stacked upon each other in the middle of the woods. I found some trees that were bent and leaning towards away from any other tree. Not a natural occurrence, not wind, not anything could have done this. It's very strange. But that's also where Tom Mezek disappeared, and that's why I'm drawn to it. A fellow researcher, David Politis, brought the missing 411 to the world's attention. I was well aware of this case because I'm from this area, that area. And when Tom Messick disappeared, it was ironically on my daughter's birthday, November 15th, 2015. So I've been aware of it, but then when I became obsessed was after I looked at some of David Paulides' work, and he paved the way for me to do what you guys are going to see now. This is my research into the Tom Messick case, interviews with different members of the community up there. And it's very interesting. As many of you know, the FBI showed up when there was no reason for it. And then they left. It's a very strange case. So here are these interviews. Here are some on-scene locations. This is my kind of memorial to Tom Messick.
November 15th, 2015. An 82-year-old man from Troy, New York, Tom Messick, traveled north on the Adirondack Northway to exit 25, Horicon, New York, to go to Lily Pond Road and hunt with family and friends. He was never heard from again, never seen from again, and no trace of him was ever found. Not an article of clothing, not his rifle, not his walkie, nothing. The mystery of Tom Messick. On November 15th, 2015, Thomas Messick Sr., age 82, an ex-paratrooper, walked into the woods south of Brant Lake in New York State to hunt for deer and was never seen again. No sign of him or his belongings ever turned up, including a rifle and his walkie-talkie. Despite a large search of the area, unusually the FBI was even involved in the investigation. This is a strange and puzzling hunting disappearance. The trip to Lake George Wild Forest. Tom lived in the city of Troy in New York State and was out that Sunday with a group of 6 friends and family who were hunting near Lily Pond in the area of the state land that is part of Lake George's Wild Forest. The older members of the group, 4 of them, were watchers in a static position, sat on a log or similar comfortable spot, and were in a near vertical line, while the younger hunters used the path around the lake to drive the deer to the watchers as part of the drive. Since the mid-1880s, Brant Lake has been a popular fishing and hunting area among the wealthy, including visitors. Theodore Roosevelt. Brant Lake Camp was incorporated by R.B. Gerzanzang, J.E. Eberly, and John Malloy in 1917. After 55 years of hunting with longtime friends, also senior men, at the Messick Hunting Camp in Hague, they decided to try this area for the first time. Tom was supposed to stay in one spot as the members of the group walked through the woods to push deer towards him. But when they arrived at the location where he was supposed to be, he was gone without a trace of him and his belongings. No sign of any deer were found that day. He was wearing duck boots, camouflage pants, a coat, gloves, and a red and black check hat that he had worn for many years. He carried a rifle and his walkie-talkie. Just who is Tom Messick? Tom Messick served in the United States Army as a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division, Death from Above, and he was 5'10", weighed approximately 160 pounds. An experienced hunter, woodsman, taught hunting and survival training for many years.
He had a history of heart problems and lost an eye in an accident with an explosive device in his early 20s. So he had poor vision and limited hearing, as well as 159 stitches in his hand. He had also just gotten over a case of shingles and nearly decided not to go on the annual hunting trip. The Tom Messick disappearance and the search. He was the last seen at 10 a.m., and when Messick didn't show up at their agreed-upon time, his friends called the forest rangers and they searched from 4:30 p.m. It got dark around 7, and at that point, half the group stayed and fired their rifles and honked their car horns to attract Tom to the area. The rest of the men left the scene and reported him missing to the family and authorities. The day after Tom had disappeared on November 16th, the search started with 13 trained SAR professionals from the Park Service. It was a well-organized search from the start. A huge search over several weeks involved more than 300 professionals and volunteers on some days, assisted by dogs, divers. Several helicopters found no clues, including no sign of his rifle or walkie-talkie. More than a 4-square-mile grid was searched, with a larger area being searched by air with the aid of a helicopter and the State Police Aviation Unit. More than 15 agencies were involved, including DEC Forest Rangers, DEC Police Canine Unit, DEC Police Officers, the FBI Quick Response Team, a State Police Special Operations Response Team, the Warren County Sheriff's Office Tactical Team, volunteers from the New York State Federation of Search and Rescue Teams. The weather was poor with heavy rain, but sniffer dogs were deployed before the worst of the rain arrived. Searchers walked through the woods, no matter how thick they were, including the swamps, and checked nearby roads, but there was absolutely nothing. Areas were tied off with string to box off specific areas to allow a detailed search of every grid zone. It was described as a spider web of string through the forest. This is what retired Undersheriff Sean Lemry spoke of with the bump lines. Given his age, searchers were baffled, as how could he have gotten so far from his original location? Some said it was weird that there were no sounds in the wildlife while the SAR teams were in operation. It was almost like something had silenced the woods. The search area had many caves, crevices, and other hazards. Could he have somehow fallen down into one of these? For a man of his age, was he really mobile enough? Why were there no clues on the ground, despite the methodical grid search? Surprisingly, the FBI arrived on the 4th day, November 19th. This was unusual, as the FBI never usually gets involved in these types of missing person cases, unless it falls under federal jurisdiction. Tom's wife, Beverly, said, "The FBI told me something is not right with his case, but they don't know what. They will not share any theories if they have them," the FBI said, "until they make a discovery. They're never going to know." But subsequently, investigators said there had been no indication of foul play. David Winchell, the spokesman of the DEC, said rangers continue to search the area on limited, continuous basis since the wide-scaled ground search ended January 16th, or 2016. That means rangers check the area periodically for evidence or clues. Beverly, his wife, said that he had been in the woods since he was a boy, and if he had gotten lost, he would have cut a piece of his jacket, tied it to a tree, and done other things he had learned. His wife said her greatest fear was that he fell victim to foul play. The only thing I can think of is that maybe someone came by on a four-wheeler, heard him, got scared, and drove him out of there. I keep praying they'll find him so we can have some closure. I keep worrying that I didn't tell him that I loved him the last day I saw him alive. In the summer of 2018, state police used sniffer dogs trained to detect cadavers to go through portions of the woods and fields near where Messick disappeared. State police investigator John Diet said no clues were found, but the police investigation is ongoing. In the 2019 movie Missing 411 Hunted by David Politis, one of the hunting group was interviewed. I heard strange noises in the woods, but I don't know what it was, just a different noise from what I'd usually hear. You know? Politis, like what? It'd be hard to explain but it was different. Something different that I'd never heard before in the woods. I just can't say what it was. How long in duration was it? Was it 2 or 3 seconds? No. It's just whatever it is, you know. How far away was it? I'd say 150 yards, something like that. Was it toward Tom or away from Tom? This was up towards the hill. The top of the hill, yeah. Did you tell the police this? Yes, I told them that, but they just passed it off. Tom's disappearance is yet another really strange case. Tom just vanished off the face of the planet. He was old, but inexperienced backwoodsman. A tough guy, an ex-paratrooper, and not one to wander off into the woods when on a hunt. He had a rifle and a walkie-talkie, and no sign of them had been found, despite the massive search of the area, including all inaccessible parts, including water and caves. So big a search that locals thought someone important, like a politician, was involved. Sniffer dogs, nor FLIR-equipped helicopters were able to find a trace of him. Was he snatched from the Lake George wild forest by a serial killer or something else? Why was the FBI involved in this case? The investigation into Tom Mezik's disappearance is still classified as an active missing persons case by authorities. This next part is some statements from an Adirondack forum that we have up here. December 27th, 2015. A lady came into the staging center, claimed she knew there were space aliens in the area and that she could help find Mr. Mezik. I believe she was politely shown the door. I actually asked a ranger I was with about how often psychics offer their services, because I'd heard of that happening in other cases. Occasionally, the family will hire one for a small fee, of course, not to be paid by the DEC or SAR operations, as the family and the time became more desperate. But they wouldn't be allowed to interfere with official operations being carried out. If it is comforting for the family to go that route, then they can do so on a non-interference basis, if their suggestion happens to match what is being or already been done anyway, so be it. Most often seen as the official SAR field operations begin to wind down. I don't know if this happened or not in the final days of the official Mezik SAR ops. Operations does as much as possible to ease the family's fear and grief. Mr. Mezik had a very large family contingent on scene, and they were given a detailed debrief with charts and coverage maps and numbers at the end of each search day. All questions were answered to the best of the ops chief ability. In general, following a reasonable suggestion of the action not already pursued might happen, if at all possible. The official investigation of circumstances and interviews to gain ever more information and clues never stops during an SAR op, and continues after field ops are ceased. Oftentimes, late coming clue or credible source will change the direction of a missing person incident. There were absolutely no clues found in the field that would help determine how to limit the daily expanding search for Mr. Mezik. Without such direction, ever expanding, the possible search area becomes an interactable geometric increase of time and resources. Success is dependent only on a mathematical probability, formalized from thousands of previously studied cases. Okay, all avidity aside, as it is a serious topic based on the experience of other cases, what do you think are the most logical scenario of the disappearance of the old man? If we could answer that, he would have been found. There are numerous interesting case study papers and texts, lost person behavior, that led to various probabilities, but individual specific cases are difficult to precisely pin down. I've spoken to several DEC rangers since the Mesick incident, and we are all equally baffled. I can only relay some of the public facts as I know them. The first few days were very dry and warm, with fluffy leaf litter, up to about 8 inches thick. Rain later matted down the thick layers of leaves. Any clues dropped early could have easily been buried. Footprints would not be easily to spot without a lucky sandy or dirt patch. He was wearing camo clothing, top and bottom, even though warm during the day. It got down to 20 degrees those first couple of nights, 40s or so at night thereafter. I asked a searcher who was wearing camo to curl up on the ground next to a log. He virtually disappeared from sight, especially if you were only casually glancing in his direction. The woods are thick with many deadfall logs and root balls that could be used as shelter if need be. Mr. Mesick was said to be an experienced woodsman and an outdoor trainer himself in the early years. Each deadfall requires a visual scan underneath on all sides. The extensive cedar and spruce swamps are thick and damp with almost continuous overlapping down to trees and root balls. Not at all inviting for travel, but were searched extensively anyway. There are sheer cliffs with large, jagged boulders stacked for some distance out from the bottom with plenty of holes to crawl or fall into. Searched as much as possible. There are multiple old overgrown logs and faint ghost trails throughout the area. These and their immediate vicinity were searched in a linear fashion for any possible clue out to a distance well outside the prime search area. All segmented areas within the most probable 1.5 mile radius from last known place were tight grid searched as thoroughly as possible, with the most probable areas checked multiple times, running 90 degrees to the previous grid if after a grid search the probability of detection, or POD, was for whatever reason low, and the probability of being in the area, POA, high. The area was searched again multiple times. Lakes, ponds, shorelines, open marshes were searched multiple times, first by helicopters, then by foot, then by divers. FLIR were flown by helicopter throughout the search area, but not for the first couple of days. Negative results in all cases. However, there were hundreds of searchers participating throughout the period, both trained and untrained. Very large grid search crews are difficult for crew bosses to manage and guarantee a high POD, especially if individuals are inexperienced or out of shape. I had as many as 19 searchers at once to manage, sharing the load with one other ranger. When solo, I had as many as 11 in a line crew. A line of 5 or 6 line searchers would be most ideal, but that was not what happened. It takes only a couple of seconds for an inattentive line searcher to miss an important clue, especially in thick undergrowth or leaf litter. Mathematical probability models were used to update daily planning and operation search assignments, or the Bayesian search theory. This is a proven process and makes use of numerous case-specific situation analysis, whether or not specific clues are found. Daily negative or positive clue and other investigative results will modify crew assignments for the next day. As more and more negative results are found, further analysis of rest of world, or ROW, potential scenarios are explained. There are only 2 possibilities. Either we missed him within the search area, or any number of reasons, or he is in rest of world. Aliens, who knows? Continuing land grid search techniques without further limiting information to feed the models quickly become impractical or impossible. It is up to the findings of the professional investigators to determine scenarios and any continuing actions to take beyond. It is not appropriate here for me to speculate beyond this. So that first part where I said 12/27/15 was the question. Then I said again 12/27/15 was the answer to the question. This is a baffling case. So on November 15th, 2015, Tom Mezek, family and friends, traveled north on the Adirondack Northway, heading from Troy, New York to Horicon, New York, exit 25. I am on the Adirondack Northway right now. I am just past exit 24, so I will be coming up to Horicon very soon. It's a beautiful day in upstate New York. I couldn't ask for a better day to drive this trip. It's absolutely gorgeous. So we are now in Horicon, New York. This fire station is where the base of the operation was for the search for Tom Mezek. This is where the Warren County Sheriff met, state police, SAR agents, and forest rangers, New York Rangers. This is where it all transpired. This right here is Brant Lake. Very beautiful area. Adirondacks. So now we will travel to Lily Pond Road. So on that November day, deep in the Adirondacks, Tom Mezek sat down in a location, I don't know where, somewhere in this vicinity. And was never seen again. Okay, so now I am deep in the woods in the Adirondacks. This looks like an ideal spot where he may have set up to have deer pushed into him. I'm gonna try something different. I brought a voice recorder and nobody's thought of that. So I figured, hey, let's see how that goes. I've heard some movement out here. I hope it's not a hunter. That'd suck. So yeah, let's try this. Mr. Mezek, if you are here with us, I want to let you know that you've been gone for 6 years in a couple of days. Actually, 2 days from now while I'm recording this. Can you speak into the mic if you're here with us? What happened? If you are here with us, can you possibly tell us? Were you attacked by a wild animal? A creature that you don't know? Human being? Are you comfortable where you are? So
now that I'm back to my car and I had ticks all over my leg, little nasty ticks. I want to listen to this footage or audio file that we got. So I don't know how great this will sound, but here goes. Tell me if you guys can hear anything. I'm going to analyze the recording later as well. Let's turn it up. If you are here with us, I want to let you know that you've been gone for 6 years. In a couple of days, actually 2 days from now while I'm recording this. Can you speak into the mic if you're here with us? What happened? If you are here with us, can you possibly tell us? Were you attacked by a wild animal? A creature that you don't know? A human being? Are you comfortable where you are? Like I said, I didn't expect it to work. I just know people haven't thought of it. And I've seen it work in haunted house or whatever places. I didn't anticipate it working because I don't know where he was sitting. And miles and miles of woods out here. I did see a couple of, I might have picked it up on camera, a couple of marked off bump line things. I don't know. I know that I was creeped out being out there. I was definitely not comfortable. And I've been in the woods a lot of times, and I never felt like that before. It was just a very eerie, unwanted feeling, I guess, is what I can say. So that's our trip to Horicon, New York. Lily Pond Road. It's not a road. I was walking down it. You saw what it looked like. It's not even a sign. It's literally comes up off of Route 8. And it's just this little dirt road. But I tried. I don't know. Maybe I'll get something on the audio file when I plug it into my computer and see. So, all right, guys. So I am in the Brant Lake Horicon region and traveling up to Lily Pond Road to check the region where Tom Mezek disappeared. I was pretty thirsty, stopped at a little local store and grabbed a soda and ended up talking to a woman who we'll call N, and she shared a terrifying little experience she had with her family on Lily Pond Road. So right now I'm going to hand the mic over to N.
We were hiking with our 3 children, and we saw a man coming towards, not towards us, but walking through, and he was wearing what appeared to be like a trench coat, all black, and he was pasty white, powdery white hair and face, but it didn't even seem like he was running, more of like a gliding kind of by us. He looked towards us, but just continued to go. It was very eerie feeling.
And that was before the disappearance of Tom Mezek.
Yes, it was.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. I have a local resident from the Horicon and Brant Lake region who was kind of involved in a little bit of the action down when Tom Mezek disappeared. I'm going to refer to her as SN. How are you today?
Great.
Thank you for agreeing to answer some questions.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Now, you were involved in the search. You were involved in some stuff after or during the search, helping feed the people and stuff like that. How was the kind of the atmosphere of people before, going into it and at the end of the day, coming out when...
Well, nothing like this has ever happened in this area that I know about. So everybody was very willing to help. Everybody from town, locals, and everybody wanted to help, which was a little bit of a concern because people didn't want, our locals just going and rummaging around in the woods to possibly get lost themselves. So we tried to include the locals to help by bringing food and things like that to the firehouse where that was the command post, I guess. And every morning, all the searchers would come in and kind of organize themselves, and they'd have a little briefing thing about what they were trying to do that day and update people on how many searchers were there the day before in the area that they covered. So the locals helped, like I said, more by trying to bring food to the firehouse. We tried to keep them, again, out of the woods. So we encouraged them to help by just helping us feed them and things like that.
Right. Just feed the workers and stuff like that, the people involved. Now, I went up there today. It took me a little bit to find Lily Pond Road because it's not... there's not a road sign there. It's a very you blink and you pass it kind of road. There's not a lot of legend to it. It's a pond that's a mile and a half in, and
yes,
people go fishing and stuff there. So it's is there a lot of hunters that go up there and hunt, or?
I believe so. So Lily Pond is located about a mile and a half off of Route 8, which is the main road. And obviously there's no boating or anything like that on it. So it is a very beautiful area where a lot of people do like to go just because it is so much off the beaten path. There's a road that you can drive on to get closer most of the year, but it is closed off in the wintertime and stuff like that. And since it is so secluded, people do love to go there. It is very popular at hunting season and stuff like that for people to go in there. And it's a nice place. Sometimes a lot of time during the summer, people actually park on Route 8 and hike the mile and a half into it, just to enjoy the scenery there.
Okay. All right. So, like you said, this is something that and for a lot of people don't know, because my channel, people listen to it from all over the country and a couple of people worldwide. Brant Lake in the town of Horicon it's a very, very small town. So for something like this to happen, it pretty much stirred your community up.
Oh, for sure. Brant Lake, there's no traffic lights. There's 4 churches in the town. There's no bars in the town. It is a very, very close-knit, small town. So for something like this to happen, that's just so bizarre. No trace of this guy. Definitely, it brought everybody together, and everybody was willing to help, and definitely brought a lot of questions. How did this happen? And everybody definitely wanted to help and was scratching their head at what was going on in our small little town.
Right. Now, as strange as this is going to sound, some of the theories that I've heard were, and I have some of my own, but, some people think that someone may have killed him and abducted the body.
I mean, there's other people that say he had just gotten lost and maybe fell in a crevice or a cave or whatnot. So I've heard other people talk in regards to a metallic sound that they heard during the hunt. What were some of the theories that you guys, being, helping out the searchers, heard?
Well, like I said, I was at the firehouse the whole time, and the wife and the hunters that were with him were in the back room at the firehouse. So we always tried to keep it judgment free,
Right.
upbeat and positive. We listened to their stories and listened to different, history and things like that they were sharing and telling with us. And we heard every single scenario. Somebody took them. Somebody wanted the insurance money. We heard every single story outside of the room where they were. But I personally have no opinion.
Right.
I don't know if he was. I don't have any opinion about it. I mean, he was a survivalist teacher.
Yep.
I don't know if he found a cave. He had a lot of health issues. He took, I think it was 13 different pills. This is 6 years ago, so remembering small details is,
Right.
But he took several different medications. I don't know if he went into a cave to keep warm and passed away of natural causes. I don't know if a bear got him. I mean, he had a rifle, so nothing was found, not a shred of clothing or anything like that. So between his survival skills, his health issues, the family history, everybody has a theory, and we did hear every single theory. I know that different agencies were looking into their finances and things like that to see if there was a reason to get rid of him for insurance money. The gentlemen that he was hunting with were elderly as well.
Okay.
They didn't, react quickly or efficiently to his missing. So
Right.
they, waited a while before they reported him missing. I don't know if they thought he was just going to come back to camp. It could be anything.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I heard he was in Cancun on a vacation. He just ran away from town. So it could, I don't know.
You're right.
Everybody had a different theory.
What I know, it's been 6 years, so this is probably going to be hard to remember. But what was if you can remember, what was the weather like around that time? Was there a lot of rain, or was it like today, 50 degrees and sunny with some wind?
No, it was great weather for the majority of the search.
Okay.
And that's why they continued to bring so many people out. There were buses being brought in of different people from different prisons, like prison guards and stuff like that, who were going out into the search. So there was a couple hundred people there a day, and they did do that because the weather cooperated for such a period of time that kind of increased their chances of being able to find them. It wasn't like it rained and any evidence was washed away. It was great weather for those 2 weeks, and that's why they put so much effort.
Right.
Another reason they could use all those resources, it was justified by the weather and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. Because I remember 6 years ago, but I don't remember the exact, how the weather was at that point. You would remember better because you'd be, remember.
Yeah, every morning at 5:30 we were at the firehouse making coffee and donuts to give to all the searchers. We packed them lunches to send out with them. So yeah, I remember.
All right. Well, I really appreciate this. I'm trying to get I'm trying to get as many like local people and different agencies, like the sheriff and state troopers, to get their opinions and what they know or what they can share on this, because this case is, something that shouldn't be forgotten, and
Right.
because it's something that just doesn't happen in Warren County, New York.
Right.
It's a very strange case. So I appreciate you taking your time out with us. And Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for contacting me.
So here's another interesting tidbit that I just got from S. Her and N, the other woman that I spoke to who told us about the incident on Lily Pond Road that she experienced, she said that during all of this, she said that she had heard talk of another relative of Tom, possibly a brother or someone, going missing 5 or 6 or 7 years before this. I can't confirm it right now. I'm looking into it, but it's just interesting that I did hear this from 2 local residents who were involved in feeding the search and rescue teams. I mean, there was over 300 people involved. Sheriff, state police, DEC, New York Rangers. They were having prison guards bust in. She had said at one day there was 6 prison buses with prison guards on there. So there was definitely 300 or more people searching for Tom. So, all right. So today I have retired Under Sheriff for Warren County, Sean Lemry, with me to discuss a few minutes of the Tom Messick case. Sean, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Thank you for taking some time out of your day to share some information and your thoughts on this tragic case. We're coming up on 6 years of this mystery. When you first were notified about the missing hunter, was it day one, or how far into the search was it?
I believe our agency was notified on day 1, and we had some officers go up to assist. I believe it was a day or 2 later when we became much more involved with sending larger teams of people up to assist with the search for Tom Messick.
Okay. Now, I mean, being from this area, I've looked at the pictures of the Warren County Sheriff's search and rescue team that was involved. And, you know, it's not just, these guys look like hardcore guys. So it's not just like regular office people. These guys were really knew the area, it seemed. You guys were assisted by other SAR agents there and state police. So there was roughly, 300 different people from different agencies involved, correct?
I believe there was somewhere around 300. It could have even been more. The other agencies brought in people as they saw fit to assist with the search for Tom Messick.
Right. Now, there's not... The crazy thing about this is not a normal thing to happen in our area. People do go missing, but they're usually found. Whether dead or alive, they're usually found, especially within 6 years. There's been no article of any clothing or anything found of him, right?
To the best of my knowledge, as I did retire 2 years ago, I'm not aware that any additional articles of clothing or anything that he had that day has ever been found.
Okay. And I was reading somewhere that it's still an active case. The state troopers went up in 2019 with some, I guess, cadaver dogs or something like that, doing a little investigation up there still. So it's still an ongoing case. Do you see it being an ongoing case for forever, or is there a time when you kind of just, it pitters out and you've got to stop?
The case would remain open until there's some sort of a closure to it.
Okay. I guess the last couple questions I want to ask is, now, being from this region, there are caves, there are little mines, iron ore mines and stuff like that around the area. what were some of the theories that had come out of everyone's mouths about this?
I don't think there was any one dominant theory. The thought was that you have a gentleman who's in his early 80s who has, I think he had limited vision,
Yep.
Some other health issues. That the thought was that the area or the distance he could travel would not necessarily be a great distance from where he was last seen.
Right.
But yet the search not only covered the area where he was last seen or last supposed to be, but covered a large geographical area. The New York State Rangers coordinated all these search grids. And from what I would see at the end of the day, they would download the GPS data, and you could actually see the grid lines as the different search groups or teams would walk these bump lines and search a particular area. And it was very evident to me that the area was very well covered. Some of the areas may have been searched 2 or 3 times by simply crisscrossing them in different directions.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it's almost like, I think it was a 5-mile grid or something like that. Almost every square inch of that little area was combed. Like you said, he was older, limited ability to walk very far, especially in a terrain like that. He had one eye. I believe he had lost it in service or something like that. So he's not going to just get up from where he was sitting and run around and not be found. The crazy thing to me is he was one of the older guys, and the younger guys were kind of pushing the deer towards the older guys. They weren't that far from each other. I guess they were sat like 100 yards apart. And so with the grid pattern, like you said, and these guys being set up before he had disappeared, it doesn't seem like he just almost vanished into thin air. It's strange. I mean, have you ever heard of a case like this prior to that?
I believe there's been other cases of people going missing. I don't specifically recall a hunter case within Warren County where the hunter went missing and he was not found or
Right.
somehow recovered at some point.
Right. Yeah. I growing up here, I've never heard of such a baffling case with so many different agencies working, hand in hand pretty much on one mission to find this poor guy. Very strange. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day. I know you're a busy guy. To share your little bit of information with us means a lot to me. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm glad you reached out.
I appreciate it, and have yourself a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys. Today I have Lieutenant Smith with us from the Warren County Sheriff's Department. Thank you, Lieutenant, for reaching out to me and taking some time to discuss the Tom Mezek case.
Sure thing.
Now, you were there at the case. Warren County Sheriffs did not run the investigation, correct?
That's correct. We were just, part of our agency was tasked with helping in the physical search for Mr. Mezek.
Okay. Were you hands-on on that case? Were you in the woods looking yourself?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yes.
What was the atmosphere like? Were you there on day 1, or was it day 2 when you guys went on?
I think we were day 2 or 3 even. I couldn't be 100% sure, but it was fairly early on. There were a great number of searchers, anywhere from our agency to state DC to Department of Corrections, volunteers in the community, fire department members. There were hundreds of searchers that would meet each morning at the firehouse in Horicon and coordinate with the with the team leader, who was a forest ranger for each group that performed the search, and from there we would go up into the Lily Pond area and search our assigned areas.
Okay. Now, were you guys hopeful? Like, was the feeling, hopeful, hey, we're going to find this guy within a day or two at first?
Yeah, I mean, the information that we had was that he was not very mobile. He was elderly. He had, vision problems. It didn't seem that likely that he would go far, and we had a pretty good point of reference to start the search. So early on, we're quite hopeful that it wouldn't last long and we would locate him.
Yeah, because a lot of it doesn't make sense just from what I've read and what I've heard talking to different people. It was like a 5 mile square radius, and you guys had bump lines, so a lot of that area was covered sometimes 2 or 3 times. So it just doesn't make sense that he would just get up, an 82-year-old guy, get up and walk 6 miles, 1 mile outside of that 5 mile grid, and partially blind in one eye, with a heart issue. It just does not make sense. What were some of the theories that you guys were dealing with, if you don't mind, and if you could answer that?
Well, I wouldn't speak to, again, we didn't get involved in the investigation part of it, if you will, into the disappearance. The information that we had and what we solely operated off was that he was hunting, by himself, with a group, but alone in an area. We had a pretty good idea where that was, and that when they went to pick him up at the end of their hunt in the late afternoon, he wasn't where he was supposed to be or where he said he would be. So beyond that, I mean, we've heard that people can do strange things when they're lost or injured, and from burying themselves in a pile of brush or under leaves to walking across paved highways. I mean, people do crazy things, so who knows?
Yeah, especially at 82, mentally being lost, you could have like some sort of lapse of whatever judgment, and
sure.
So that's understandable. All right. So out of the agencies, you guys worked hand in hand. About what day or week did you guys kind of have to let it peter out a little bit to where it was actually coming into resource? You're kind of draining resources. I know there was.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was some years ago, but as I recall, after things were scaled down after the first week, and I know that DC and the forest rangers were there even with small groups several weeks after, and maybe longer than that I'm not even aware of. But they continued for a long time with very scaled down numbers after that initial search didn't turn up anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was reading in the Post-Star. I mean, it's local knowledge of this. Our newspaper wrote an article regarding the agencies that were involved, and I don't know too much about how these operations work. I'm still trying to learn everything. But based on what in the area and who was involved, it sounds reasonable. But then the Post-Star had mentioned the FBI was involved. What is that? Is that true or not true?
I cannot confirm that or deny that. I again, that would be probably more of a question for the state police, since they had the the investigation into the disappearance. Again, okay. we were kind of involved in only the search aspect
just
of it.
Brought in as like extra
bodies for search. Yes, correct.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, we're coming up on 6 years, and it's a strange case. It's still an open case. How long do cases like this stay open forever?
Yeah, I mean, this would be open indefinitely. He's missing, and I mean, I think at this point, at least personally, I presume the worst.
Right.
Whether he's out there still, I don't know. But until there's answers, it'll always be an open case.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, 6 years is a long time for an 82-year-old elderly gentleman to, make it, unfortunately. But yeah.
Sure.
All right. Well, I appreciate this. Do me a favor, please don't hang up. There's a couple questions I'd like to ask just after
Okay.
I end the interview. So I appreciate you taking your time out of your day. I know you're super busy with everything, and I just appreciate everything you guys do for our community.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
And with that, my theories. I went up there and I looked around. It's a beautiful, quaint town. The first place where I caught my first fish as a kid on Brant Lake. Now, when I was on my way to Lily Pond Road, I had my GPS on and I'm traveling, and it says 1/8 of a mile on your right, Lily Pond Road. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Lily Pond Road is on your right. And I look, and there's no road. It's just a dirt road going into the woods. There's no sign. There's nothing. From what I heard and what I gathered from locals and people I talked to, Lily Pond Road is a creepy area. I was creeped out a little bit when I was in there. And, there's a lot of lore up north anyway about Sasquatch and unidentified flying objects and stuff like that. It's a very, very eerie place, I can tell you that much. Lily Pond Road, not Brant Lake or Horicon, New York. Those are absolutely gorgeous. But a couple of things that I did notice is while I was talking to sheriff's department people, and I did talk to different people that I had not was not able to record. I guess the state police and DEC in Raybrook, New York, used a lot of correctional officers and shipped them down. So I asked who was in charge. And at one point I was told Warren County Sheriffs. Then I was told the state police. Then I was told DEC, New York State Rangers. I'm assuming it was the Rangers, but for that to kind of bounce all over the place, with no definitive answer of who was in charge, when I asked about the FBI, you could hear Lieutenant Robert Smith's answer. And to me, I asked a couple locals. They didn't know the FBI was even there. There would have been no reason for the FBI to be there unless there were, if it was on federal land or some sort of crossing state lines, what have you. And that's another mystery in this mystery. Why were the FBI involved? Well, to me and to you guys who are thinking about this and breaking it down, because the United States government knows what's out in those woods. They placed them out in those woods. They track them, they hunt them, they do whatever. I'm baffled that there still has not been just a release, hey guys, we know there are things out in the woods that, be leery of. This case is just baffling to me. And I really, really wanted to get more answers than I got, but it was almost like when I talked to the people in charge or people participating that I got the runaround, being from the Adirondacks, there's a lot of lore here. There's a lot of history here. For those of you who don't know, Last of the Mohegans happened in Lake George, New York. It was written by James Fenimore Cooper, who wrote it in Glens Falls, New York, where I live. And very historic area, but a lot of mysteries.
All right, so that was some of the interviews that I had done and some of the scenic view of Brant Lake. I don't know why they call it Horicon, because it is Brant Lake. Lily Pond Road is right off of Route 8, which is right on Brant Lake, which you guys saw. Horicon is just a smaller town a little ways off. I've always wondered that. But anyway, this is some of the footage that I have caught while being up there. And I have had a lot of strange stuff happen up there. So I also am going to be putting together a updated kind of documentary on this. That's one of my goals, is to put together a semi-professional documentary on this case and really get to the heart of everything. But like I said, I wanted to be up there yesterday, excuse me. But I had a crazy family day. That's what you get when you're a single dad of a 17-year-old. But here is that footage.
All right, so we're coming up to it. 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 All right, guys, we're back in Horicon, New York, where Tom Mezek disappeared. One of my favorite places, actually, to be. Even though I had a scare just the last time I was here. But there seems to be some noise today, and I'm going to be going up this trail just to kind of spend some time here, see if we can catch anything. Hopefully we don't, but I'll spin the camera around so you guys can see whereabouts I'm at, and just talk a little bit, and then we'll get to a spot, and I got some encounters to share with you guys. Hang on one second. All right, so the camera is spun around, and that is what is in front of me. That is what is aside of me. It's funny, last time I was here, I read in the comment section of guys like, there's a bunch of trees that are cut down. There are no trees that are cut down. This is broken limbs, broken trees. But you can't make everyone happy, right? I guess that's the thing. That's pretty cool. But I am glad that there is some noise today. Most definitely. So find a location and kind of like I'm flat. That's the incline. And it is beautiful out. It's not humid. Absolutely gorgeous today. There's the trail that I came down through. Absolutely gorgeous here. So last time I was here, I caught something running across the trails. I don't know what that was. It scared me pretty badly. Whew. Getting winded here. Absolutely gorgeous. Just a beautiful location. It did kind of silence out though, a little bit. But, oh well. Let's set up and, like, that's the mountain right here. I'm on the mountain. Alright. I just want to kind of give a look-see. I don't see anything around me. But we'll set up and narrate a couple encounters and just take a walk. How's that sound, guys? Alright guys, today's first subscriber submitted experience is from a former Marine. I guess once you're a Marine, you're never not a Marine. Which is I've always thought that was really cool, you know, because you have then dedicated your life to that division of service, you know. Really cool. So anyway, Jeff, I'm 53 years old. When I was 18, I joined the Marine Reserve straight out of high school. Combat engineer and bulk fuel specialist. Deployed in the first Gulf War, and now a disabled veteran. My dad was a two-tour Vietnam vet with the 101st Airborne Rangers, 20-year veteran. I grew up fishing very young. My dad and I used to go hard to get to the fishing spots. I was about 7 years old. In Yakima, Washington, my dad was stationed there for a few years. We'd gone fishing at our favorite spot. My dad had gone around the lake and I stayed near the car. Holy fuck, guys, we're out of here. We're out of here. What the fuck was that? Wow, I'm back at my car. There's nobody here. Dude, that was beyond, like, I'm shaking. It just took me at least 10 minutes to run down that mountain. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you where everything went by. So there's nobody at this parking spot. Nobody. That's my car. Whatever knocked that tree down was up in here somewhere. I don't care if anyone calls me a coward, man. I saw something. I don't know what that was, but you guys saw me. I was narrating that. I'm not going back up there today. I'm going home. My chest hurts. That was unbelievable. I don't think I've ever been that scared. That was more scary than what occurred the other day when I caught whatever ran across the trail. I don't know if you guys can see right there. There's that orange tag on that one tree. Those are tags that they use to grid this area off to search for Tom Mezek. Holy cow. I've only been here for 20 minutes. All right, I'm sorry guys, I can't stay here today. I am just way beyond freaked out. And now, it was silent for a few minutes though, if you think about it, while I was narrating. And now once that happened, now you hear a bird. But I'm also about 1/8 of a mile away. All right, guys. We are in upstate New York in the Adirondacks. Snow is on the ground. In today's video, I said I would be doing the shofar from where Tom Mezek disappeared. And that's where we are. Never been here this late in the year. I'll spin the camera around so you guys can check it out. It's pretty cold. It's 31, I think. And just real quiet. So I'll turn the camera around so you guys can see everything. Alright, so as you can see, we had a snowfall on was it Tuesday? We got 6 inches of snow. But then it was 40 Wednesday and Thursday. What the hell's that noise? You guys hear that? It's coming from that way. Hang on. There's a noise coming from that way. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's this weird, honestly, metallic sound. I don't know what it is. Not a clue. Kind of want to stay here for a second and see if we can hear it again. Did you hear it? What the hell is that? I hope my mic can pick that up. Dude, it's dead quiet here. Something's up here with me. I can tell, and I'm not making shit up. It's coming from that way. I don't know if we can hear it. Hear it? What the hell is that? I'm gonna go up a little and see. Whoa. Yeah, it's slick. There's some kind of noise over here on this side of me. I'm pretty sketched out because of that. I've never heard anything like that. There it is again. What the hell? I hope my mic is picking this up. Here's where, right here's our rocks where we were sitting. This is the location that I set that trail cam up. You hear it? It almost sounds like that's not a tree moving in the wind. That's like a metallic. I almost don't want to blow the shofar here. But you know what? I said I would do it. And I do what I say I'm going to do. So, there it is. And it's got like this faint. Alright, I'm going to get the shofar out. Blow it. We'll hang out for a few minutes and then I'm out of here. I do not like being here right now. It is cold. Cannot believe I said I was doing this today. There it is. There's that noise again. Okay, so this is a shofar. That right there was a tree. Whatever is over there, I don't know what the hell is. I really hope nothing comes and just attacks me. Alright, here we go. Dude, the wind stopped. Literally, the wind stopped. No wind. How weird is that? Dude, that is crazy. It's actually 28 degrees now. Whew. Nothing. Not a damn thing. Just dead silence. Wish it was warmer today. Kind of do a pan around. Behind me is, there it is, that noise again. I really hope my mic picks that up. I'm about 20 minutes from my car. I don't know. I think it's just time to leave. I wanted to... Dude, it went dead quiet. There's that noise again. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's not a tree. We know what trees sound like. Trees don't sound like a metallic sound. I'm gonna get the out of here right now. I'll talk to you guys later. Look at that. That's interesting. That's, my hand is extended. I'm 6 foot. My arm would put me at 7 foot. That thing is 8 foot and bent. That's where I want to go, up in here. A woodpecker in there. Hear him? So this is where I was. I'm walking just like I am now. I stop and I look and I'm like, let's go this way. And I do. And I mean, this is not, there's no trail here. Why did I get pushed this way? Woodpecker's still right up in there. All right, let's do this, guys. As long as I can hear that woodpecker, I feel like I'm safe. But there's no trail. I don't think the rattler snakes will be out this time of year either. This wall freaks me out too. There he is. Oh, look how big he is. Hang on. See him? There's that woodpecker. He's a big guy. Wow. Huh. That's so cool. Let's get to a different vantage point. Okay, I hiked a little bit more through the woods, but these are the 3 rocks that I found one day. And to be honest, there is a side-by-side out on the trails down that way. A ranger, maybe. I don't know. Hear that woodpecker though? He's going top notch. See if I can find him again. Can hear him. Just can't see him. Time is it? 2:15. Alright, so this is what I wanted to do. I've checked this area with a magnet before. I want to use the dowsing rods here. Okay, so we got an airplane overhead and our little woodpecker friend. Alright. Is there any kind of entity here at all? Anything? Cross these things. Cross the rods. Wow. I thought for sure they'd work up here. Holy shit. Are you an old spirit? Open these up if you are Tom Mesick. Open them up if you're a Native American that lived in the Adirondacks. Alright. I don't know if I want to do that up here. I know this has a weird feeling up here. I'm a little nervous about being here right now. So and I know our little buddy over here is pecking away, but I'd rather be on the trail than up here during the eclipse. So I think what we'll do is we'll head out and head down and head back up on the trails. How's that sound? Whew. Behind you guys, right where the camera is set up, there's a just a rock outcropping.
think I found a pretty good spot to set up while the eclipse happens. I had to check on my daughter in a minute. Call her and see if she's okay. Here we go. What the fuck was that? Guys, I don't know what that was. Did you hear it? Something responded. Those are all woods back there. It's all woods. Deep back there. Something fucking responded. It's calling. What the fuck is it? I'm gonna blow it again. It sounds like it's getting closer or further away, maybe, I don't know. Hang on. Let's see. A plane overhead. I don't know, whatever it was, it communicated with us twice. And actually, where it sounded like it was coming from was it's getting further away. I just heard it, and it's going further into the mountains. What the fuck was that?
All right, so it is definitely a strange case. Definitely a lot of strange things happen up there. And I have no explanation. The only thing I can come up with is portals. Portals, portals, portals. With that, I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. It is, after all, your support that keeps the channel growing and going, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone simply treated with the respect we deserve. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there, and they are dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.